Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Brian Allen, and welcome to this week's webinar presented by International Security Training. This week, we are going to be focusing on corporate advance work. So the objectives today, and we're going to have three of them. First of all, we're going to be discussing the corporate environment versus other security environments. Then we're going to introduce the corporate protocol that exists, which is a little bit different than in some of the other areas of security. And then we're going to look at reviewing of the exact advance itself, the basic steps that a lot of you should already be familiar with. So let's look at corporate world versus other assignments. The first assignment I actually worked in protection work was the military. So when you're in the military, you could be on foot doing an advance or a route recon, as they call them. You might be in a vehicle, you could be in a Humvee, or nowadays they're using drones to conduct these advanced tasks. When I was on foot, that was always a very slow, methodical operation. Okay, I was normally in a three-man fire team. We were sent out, whether it was long range or short range, and the whole job is to grab basic salute reports. If you guys, anybody in the military is probably used to a salute report, you're trying to grab the size, activity, location, the unit, the terrain, the equipment, everything that surrounds your enemy element. Okay, so you're trying to do that. You're drawing up maps, you're reporting back to the boss, and then they're making a decision on whether to do something or not to do something. So that's in the military. Then you have protection work, which involves celebrities, VIPs, and politicians, things of that nature. You're normally going to be dressed up very nicely. Everyone's going to know you are the bodyguards or the protection detail, and you're conducting your advances, telling people who you are. So these two areas are very high profile, they're very visible. Here you don't want to be seen, but if you are found, people are going to know what you are doing. Okay? In the corporate world, it's very different. It's very much a low-key situation. You don't go around telling people who you are. Now, again, to be specific, I'm talking about corporate executive protection, not the normal facility security teams, who are oftentimes going to be labeled and everyone's going to know who they are. And we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. Okay, so some corporate protocol here. First of all, you have to be a team player in corporate executive protection. You have to keep people in the loop. Probably the most important person I can keep in the loop is the executive assistant for the CEO or the VIP that I'm working with. An executive assistant, your relationship with that person is just and equally as important as your relationship with your client. This person knows what's going on. Okay? They are amazing resources. So what you need to do is become a friend of this person. I don't care if you like them or you dislike them. I don't care if you have different personality styles. You need to learn this person's personality. You need to learn their communication style and then manage and work with and around it. They do not have to adjust to you. You are the professional executive protection. You create an asset out of this person. Okay? Obviously, you will also need to keep your security director in the loop, the security team of the facility that you're at or your client is at most of the time, and even security teams at the locations where you and your CEO are visiting or your protectee are visiting. Okay. Next, we have your demeanor and your introduction. Again, this kind of refers back to what I was talking about on the last slide. When you are an executive protection agent working for a corporate client, your demeanor is going to be low key. When you introduce yourself to people, you don't tell people you're security, you don't tell people you're the agent, the bodyguard, what have you. You introduce yourself as a personal assistant. And actually, I have business cards made. I have more business cards. It's hilarious. My partners and family makes fun of me because of, the money that I give Vistaprint.com. But you need a pretext, a cover story. Why are you here before the executive? And normally, the way I was trained was that when you go to meet somebody on an advance, you just say, hey, I'm assigned to be in charge of transportation next week when we meet here, and I just want to stop by, say hello for 10 to 15 minutes and kind of get a lay of the land and see what's going on. Your job is to make your boss's day more efficient. When you talk like that to an executive assistant, they will understand it because that is their job as well. Okay? So, conducting the advance itself. Now this should be very familiar, especially if you guys have already been working in protection. You know, the routes, we want primary and secondary routes. So make sure you figure those out. You want these routes going to the location and from the location. It's not always a guarantee that you can just reverse the route that you took there to get home. You have one-way streets that you have to worry about and construction. Speaking of that, make sure you know what the current status is of the construction delays and hazards on the routes that you are taking or that you're going to be avoiding and the reasons why. Okay, if you do pull up your MapQuest or your Google Maps or your Waze, if you guys are using the WAZE, that's the Waze mobile apps, things like that, a lot of times they don't have accurate construction information. So make sure you know what's going on and make sure you are driving those routes within the 24 hours that you were to be going to that location. Hospitals, and I should have actually put something more specific there, hospitals with emergency rooms. You want to know where those are located, not only in relation to the facility or the office building that your client is normally at, but also the ones near the locations where you guys are visiting. Now the target building, this could probably and most often will be office buildings and court buildings and things of that nature where your executive or your client's going to be visiting. Listen, meet with the other executive's admin assistant. Okay? Call them up again, like I said earlier on the other slide. Tell them that you are the personal assistant. You're assigned to drive the boss that day, and you just want to come over and say hello. Now, again, the way I was trained was to get there early. Okay, get there early. Walk around the building. Draw a little strip map out on a yellow pad. Take note of the entrances, the exits, the cafeterias, the elevators, the escalators, things of that nature. Okay. Also, if you're going to contact the other executives, admin, make sure that you have let the admin assistant to your client know that you are making this call. That will make that person feel in the loop, respected, and that way it doesn't look like you're going behind anybody's back. Okay. The parking garage, I put this on there because your parking garage may be connected to the building that you're at, or like in Phoenix, we'll have several different parking garages, located around an office building in town, and they are confusing as all get out. So you will want to drive the parking garages near where you're going to be going. You're going to want to take note of the routes, the paths, how to get in and out of that stinking thing. You're going to want to look at how you pay for parking. Is it through an automated payment system where you have to get out, use your credit card, and grab the tickets and that sort of thing, or is there a person, working there? If there is a booth there that is manned by a person, is it just during the day and then at nighttime they leave? Those sort of things can create little hiccups in your day. So make sure you do that as well. In conclusion, the corporate world can be very different, no doubt. You're not going to have the big command posts, you're not going to have the teams, you're not going to have all the cool firepower that a lot of us have been used to, maybe in military environments or VIP celebrity type of environments, or even if you just got out of a school, you went to an executive protection school and wow, you were so excited because they were training us for threat level 3 and 4 jobs. We're shooting up cars, we're shooting up buildings and shoot houses, and then you get in the real world and you're like, wow, that doesn't have a lot to do with my job over a 20-year period of time. So it's very different. Okay. If you are a one-man detail, respect that job. That can be the most rewarding thing you do. You are very versatile. You are a problem solver. You are a lot of times you have to be very diplomatic. Okay, you're going to get to build relationships with people all around your CEO or your client, I should say, so that way you have a lot of people helping you out and giving you the support you need. You do that by giving them respect. Give respect first, make them feel important, and get them on your side. Do not be arrogant. Do not think that you are Billy Badass. Do not act like you're security so you can do whatever you want to do. That will get you fired and or replaced. The job can be less flashy. Like I said on the last slide, you don't have the command posts, the equipment, the firearms, but it can be more rewarding because you are a true multitasking, problem-solving individual. So that being said, my name is Brian Allen with International Security Training. I wish you guys the very best, and until next time, stay safe.